Well, let's talk then about George's loan overall so far. Obviously, Boro in the playoffs, in the final playoff spots as of this recording. But yeah, he's playing regularly, which is good to see. He's got 1 goal to his name as well. But yeah, he's keeping players out of the squad, which as a loan player, I'm sure he'd be pleased because obviously we wanted him to get game time with his injuries history. But yeah, he's doing well. And yeah, that sounds like fans are liking him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really, really popular already on T side. I think he's just a really good defender. You know, he puts his body on the line. Anything that comes in the box, he heads that out. No fuss. He's good with the ball. He's comfortable with the ball, which I think is the big plus point. I think Matt Clark was doing similar things for Boro last season. That kind of defending his box, the penalty area, really, really well and committed. But Matt Clark probably isn't as fast with the ball at his feet, and George is a lot more comfortable. You can see he's a lot more confident with the ball at his feet. A couple of errors here and there, playing the ball out of defence. That's only fair to point out, but largely not too costly for Boro. He's been solid and a bit of an attacking threat as well from set pieces. As you mentioned, he got 1 goal, and I could probably maybe think of 2 or 3 others where actually he'll probably be disappointed he didn't at the very least get those headers on target. There was one, I think, was it Burnley? Yes, it was Burnley. We drew 1-1 just recently there, and it was a game where Boro came away feeling like they should have got all 3 points at Turf Moor, and one of the big chances they had to win it was a header George put wide, but obviously, you're not going to hammer a centre-back too much for missing a big chance, but it just proves that, for the first time in a long time, really, Boro have got an attacking set-piece threat, and he's a big factor in that. But, by and large, it's obviously his defensive work that he does for the team. Michael Carrick, like Kieran McKenna's Ipswich in the Championship, are a very attack-minded team, and they commit a lot to attack. So, what they need is a kind of really clever and well-organised defence, and George has been integral to that so far.
Any other business? Anything else we should know about George? Obviously, we're all here at town, hoping Boro do have a good season. Definitely with the Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna connection. Hopefully, we're both in the Premier League next season. But yeah, any other business?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it would be just worth pointing out. You mentioned, obviously, I know we spoke in the summer about him when he first signed for Boro, and, the kind of, if you like, bad luck he had at Ipswich, and kind of he'd get into the team and then get injured and stuff. And one of the pleasing aspects for George is that he's managed to stay injury-free, touch wood, here at Middlesbrough. And as I say, he has been consistent throughout the campaign, even as other players have been returning from injury. It's been the other centre-back changing here and there, and George has just consistently stayed in that team. And it always springs to mind in terms of summing that up and kind of his mindset this season. At Watford, we were sat watching the warm-ups ahead of the game, and he took what looked like a really nasty kind of hit in the air in when they do the passing in the boxes. And he went down, and they were calling the physios over the players, and they looked a lot of concern, and he didn't look comfortable at all for 5 minutes or so. And it was the same day that Matt Clark, who'd had a little injury problem himself, had returned to the squad. He was back on the bench, and you were looking and thinking, well, this is going to be an early change, and it's not the ideal start to a game. Matt Clark back after 3 or 4 weeks out for the first time, and he's going to have to come straight back in. And to be fair to George, he got back up, and he managed to shake that off, played the game, and he was absolutely fantastic that day at Watford. Boro ended up throwing that one away late, and conceded 2 goals in the final 10 minutes and lost a game that they'd otherwise been brilliant in. But
wasn't there one time where he threw up as well?
Yes, I was going to mention that as well. Yeah. The Watford one, my memory's failing me, but I'm sure he actually scored the goal at Watford, actually. They were winning 1-0. And I think that was his goal. So, yeah, I mean, from looking like he was going to come out of the team, he scored and was absolutely brilliant. And then, yeah, as you mentioned there, we've had a bit of an illness running through Boro's squad for about the last month now. They just can't seem to shake it every game. There's a different player missing, and I think it was Luton, the 1-5-1, and after the game, Michael Carrick said, he'd been ill ahead of the game, refused to kind of come out of the team, said he was fine, and apparently threw up twice during the game, but still played on, and again, really good that day, the 1-5-1, and I think that, both incidents really just show that kind of, I think, he had that frustration at Ipswich where he just couldn't get a run of games because he kept getting injured and stuff when he did manage to get in, and obviously 2 very good centre-backs unfortunately ahead of him there. So, getting this opportunity at Bury, you could see he's just determined to kind of hold on to it at any cost.